I typically do not wear a blazer, but I think that wearing a blazer, it does bring a little touch to the eye, if that makes sense. So I always want to bring a touch to the eye. You know what I'm saying? So today I put on a blazer. It's just a really common blazer for you, just for you though.
Well,
just for
listen,
you.
I'm humbled.
Hey, my friends, welcome to a conversation with Matthew Sanchez, the podcast produced and created by MSW Productions. So I'm so honored that you are on the podcast today because you have done so much for the city of Columbus, and a lot of people may know you, but some may not. But for the ones who don't, can you tell me in so many words, who is Chris?
It's an easy question to ask.
Yeah.
But it's easy to give a flippant, canned answer to it. That's the hoorah, whatever you want it to be. But the purpose of this podcast, as I understand it, is to have an honest conversation.
Yeah.
And so who is Chris Woodruff?
Who is he?
For somebody who was an English major, you'd think I'd be able to articulate it pretty clearly.
Yeah.
But it's tough to get my hands around who I am because I'm always trying to grow. And I've always been that way.
Yeah,
I've always thought that if we stay stagnant and we don't learn and continue to strive to learn, what's our purpose?
Yeah.
So I know what drives me. I know at my core who Chris Woodruff is and what he stands for.
Yeah.
I know that I'm a man that's deeply passionate about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Community, for one.
Sure.
My family, my faith.
Come on.
I have a drive to see things happen that I believe should happen.
Same here.
And I don't know if I'm right, but to date, everyone seemed to say, I think you're right with what you're doing.
Yeah, I read some articles about you, and I have done some research, and then I tried to look through the bio you sent earlier. But I think what was the most common thing about you in every article that I read was that you are visionary. Like you have this ability to walk into spaces and places and to change it in your head. Have you always had that ability?
I believe so. Because I don't, it's difficult for me to relate to people who can't. And so I've spent my entire professional career has really been built on me learning how to explain what's in my head to somebody who may not understand what a box looks like, unless I draw it.
Yeah, sure.
But I think that I've always had a very active imagination as a child, and I think that's part of it. I think my high level of curiosity is another reason that I'm kind of like this. It's more of a function of I'm not visionary so much as I just ask the questions, well, why is it being done this way? Isn't there I wonder if. And in my family growing up, it was always, you would ask a question, right? Dad, Mom, why this?
Right.
And rarely did you get a response. It wasn't that you were being ignored, but the response was a look, which meant you know where the encyclopedias are. You know how to call your grandfather. You know how to go find the answer yourself. And so I think that's was part of it all. That's what's behind it. It's just a function of I see opportunities to make things hopefully better. And I'm not always right on that at all. But that's my goal and my hope.
No, that's so good because I think what we're here talking about today, which is business, all things business, I think that's one of the first steps. If you're going to be a business owner or somebody that's going to create change through business, you got to have vision and you got to be willing to go out and learn what you don't know so that you can do what you want to do. That makes sense?
100%.
Yeah. But I wonder so a lot of the development and business growth here, whether you want to give yourself credit or not, is due to your hands being on different projects and building certain things and all these things. How did this come about? Like, tell me what made you start your business? Like, tell me how all that came.
You want the abbreviated version, or do you want the 13-minute soliloquy? No, it's we stand on the shoulders of giants. I have been blessed my entire life to be surrounded by, or to be in the room, or the opportunity to ask, can I be in this room, et cetera, and be allowed in. By that I mean, even just being around my grandfather growing up, or my cousin Bumpsy, or, working for Bill Turner, or being introduced to Bob Wright, Dr. Bob Wright, and we immediately had a friendship that just occurred. It's I think that, gosh, I mean,
it just kind of started for you.
It started really like most things in my life, where I thought I didn't know what I wanted, maybe, but really deep down inside, God had a plan for me. I was just, that thought I didn't know was really me not listening to God's voice. And God saw fit to put me into a position, or to open my eyes to a place that I would put myself into when I was in college. And that's the real answer. How'd I get to where I am? The real answer is I hit a really bad, dark place when I was a junior in college, and had lost my faith. I had lost lost everything, my reason.
Yeah,
I couldn't. I was depressed, you name it. And I was smart enough at the time to understand that if I stayed in that environment, that I wouldn't be here tomorrow.
Sure.
And so that, knowing that, caused me to make a phone call home. And I said, listen, Mom, I can't, I need to take a break. And she said, that's fine. That's fine. But you know the rule. We have all these little rules in our family.
Yeah.
This rule in particular was, you should be working in school, first of all, while you're in school. But if you're not, that's fine, because you're in school. Take a full load. But if you're not in school, you better be working. So if you're going to come home, take a break, find a job.
But you're going to work.
Yep. So find a job.
What's your favorite car?
Ooh, gosh. Right now, at present, 67 Austin Healey.
Okay. Let's say me and you, we're driving in that favorite car down the neighborhood that you grew up on. Take me what it was like to be little Chris. What kind of street did you grow up on? Could you go outside and play, or did you have to stay inside? Now, we had to come in before the street lights came on. I don't know if y'all had to do that. We had to come in. So what kind of childhood did Christopher have?
An amazing one. We grew up, my sister and I grew up on Gray Rock Road, right on the Harris County, Muskogee County line. And we were surrounded by about 2,000 acres of either our property or family's property, and then another 5,000 acres of distant family property, right? So there were cousins all around.
Yeah.
My closest neighbor was 1.5 miles away.
Wow.
It was incredible. The sun came up, we woke up, and it was go outside and play. Come home when you can get home.
Yeah.
Right? If it's dark, you'll know the trails.
Sure.
Figure
You
it
remember.
out.
You remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I grew up in that freedom of being able to go explore. The freedom of hopping on a four-wheeler and just riding for miles, and then learning that I trespassed over 5 or 6 different property owners' property and didn't know it, and had to go apologize, right? But being able to be free. We had 4 channels, 3 really, because one of them didn't come in well on the antenna. Had water from, it was from a drilled well. The power would go out a lot because the storm would come in and knock out a line. And so we would have the fun family candle nights, right?
Yeah.
When the storm was coming in.
Yeah.
All my friends that lived in the city loved coming out to play because we built forts We
Oh,
had
come on, because y'all had
adventures.
fun.
Yeah. You give me a ditch and a couple sticks, I'm gonna make one of the best hidden forts you've ever seen.
Okay. So you had a great childhood.
I had a great childhood.
Wow.
Yes.
How long have you been in business in total? Give me a many years.
So, gosh, my first job or
Just in business for yourself.
for myself. So, I started my first LLC in 2004.
You still have it?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, man, how long ago was that? That was like, that was way more than 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow. And how profitable has it been for you being in business? We're just trying to give people some leverage that you know what you're talking about here.
I can talk to you all day about the fundamentals and the MBA from Clemson helps.
Sure.
Master's in Real Estate Development from Auburn helps.
Sure. Because you got them. You got the qualifications.
I've done all that. Short answer to that question you asked is, was it successful? Does it make money? Right. That was your question.
Right.
It was very successful. It was a home run. And it was one of those things you go, I'm either going to get full of myself and think I can do this every time, or I'm going to listen to what, my mentors have told me, which is, know what you don't know. And just because you did it doesn't mean it's going to work again. There are other things at force here. And so recognize that. So anyway, we did a great job on that deal. And it was a real estate deal, my first real estate deal, where I worked with a brother of mine. He's his best friend, but he's basically my brother. And we formed an LLC to join in with some other folks,
right, and
to a bigger LLC, which acquired a property,
right.
And we then flipped it to another buyer.
And you guys did that for years?
No, we did. This was the first one.
Oh, wow!
You see, the beauty of what I do is you're always jumping around, and that's why it's a little difficult. You ask me, well, your first business? I'm going, gosh, I think I've got about 40 LLCs right now, because property owners put properties in LLCs.
Right.
It protects everybody.
Right.
And so those are businesses. Now I have my operating businesses, the cotton companies, Woodruff Brokerage Company. But this first deal was my exposure to the nitty gritty of deal flow in real estate. And my partner and I were very successful, and we sold, took a windfall, and used the monies to invest into some lake property.
Right. And
then the LLC's been dormant for 20 years. We just recently made an investment in a project in town, and
So, if you may say, give a rough number, how much money have you made in the last 20 years?
I don't know if I could really quantify that, not because the number is so large, but because there's a lot of answers that come with that.
Got it.
But what I can tell you is, I've had my hand in or been a part of at least over $200 million worth of development and projects or deals in just this Columbus area.
And that's just the Columbus.
Yeah.
Because I ask you those questions because the normal person who's starting a business assumes that they need money to start a business. And maybe they do. But you being in business for 20 plus years and have been able to make a lot of money and do all these things, what would your advice be to a new business owner who doesn't have money to start a business? What would you tell them to do?
The first thing I would tell somebody to do who's starting a business is learn to be perfectly honest with yourself and to be brutally honest.
What do you mean by that?
Well, too often, the Chris Woodruff may think he has the best idea, and this is, and he follows after. But if all the data and all the people are saying, we're not going to buy your product, we're not going to do this, that may not be the right best idea. And so I got to be honest with myself about that now. And then I've got to dissect and understand what went wrong in that equation. Yeah. And I can tell you real quick, in that made up situation, it was Chris Woodruff didn't do a needs analysis. He didn't go out to say, what do you need? What do you want? He just went off of what he thought. I've done that before, and I was lucky, right, that it was successful. I've done it before, and it wasn't successful. So what I would tell people is if you're starting a business, learn to be honest with yourself. Also understand that being an entrepreneur, which is not a word I like to use,
Come on.
being a business owner, it's not sexy at all. Like,
Okay.
my buddy Jason and I joke all the time.
Yeah.
We're like, this is like, that 3 a.m. panic attack. That's a real thing. And it's panic because you think about the millions of dollars that I have invested through, with partnerships with financial institutions
Right.
to do these projects down here. And I wake up going, gosh, I hope we get enough people at this event because we need to raise more awareness about the product or this. And so it's not sexy. The stress levels, I mean, your job becomes your life. And you must, if you want to really be successful, you must give to that 100%, which means you have to sacrifice. And that's not always fair to the people you love. But if you love the right ones, they'll understand and they'll support you through it.
But why do new business owners or people who want to own business think that this being an entrepreneur is all that it is and it's so cool to be one? Why do you think that's such a false perception of what an entrepreneur is?
It's largely due to social media. I mean, I grew up, we're an entrepreneurial family. That's since we've been here since 1840.
Yeah.
That's all we know. And there's the entrepreneurial style of management, and there's the corporate style of management. So I come from the old school thought of entrepreneurial, and that means hard work, strong work, being the first to work, being the last to leave. My first job for my grandfather when I moved back home to work for him was digging ditches. I was paid, we would pick up day laborers, and I was paid less than day laborers.
Wow.
And I was treated rougher than day laborers.
Wow.
But what he was teaching me was these are the fundamentals of real estate. It starts with dirt, then it starts with the foundations, then it starts with building on those foundations, sticks, bricks on top, roof, right? That's how you get a building. They don't just magically appear.
Yeah.
And all those things take time and they take work and they take understanding. But what today's society and social media will show is they show Chris Woodruff going to a house that was built.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot more that goes into that.
Yeah.
And if you're that one person doing it, that's a lot.
Yeah, because there are actually people who make money teaching people how to make more money, and they have to advertise themselves as these $1 billion or $1 million lifestyle that is so not true. So that's probably why they think that this entrepreneur journey is sexy, or it's something that everybody. It's a way to get to financial freedom, and that probably is the case. If you make the money and you can keep making the money and the time in. What else do you think is a misunderstanding that people have about entrepreneurship?
A, that it's easy. B, that you're always right. See that the latest fad is the quickest way to get rich. There is no get rich quick.
Yeah,
it all goes back to hard work, and I believe in work.
Yeah,
hard work.
Yeah,
good work.
Yeah,
and I think that this glorification of the entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is sexy because I have ideas in my head.
Sure, that
I can go out and build.
Sure.
But there's a lot that can, and if you see me on vacation, it's because I've earned that vacation. I'm working on that vacation, because that's what a business owner does.
Right.
Your phone's always on. Working for someone is a lot easier and less stressful because it's not your butt on the line. You aren't responsible for the people you employ. You aren't responsible for, right? And so they don't talk about that. Being an entrepreneur is one thing. Being an entrepreneur with employees,
it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. Not even talking about the management part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, just the gravitas of, we've got to get this deal done because
these people are not getting paid.
Because that woman's family it's depending on this. And
So
she's got a surgery coming, you know, all this.
So how much time, let's just say it's an entrepreneur is starting from from ground zero. They have no employees, not really overhead costs. So they don't have no building or that. How do you become successful? I know you said that first start with yourself and know what you don't know. So learn everything you can. But how does an entrepreneur starting from zero grow into like them making some money and doing well? Like, or is there a spot where you can do well? Are you always going to have to hustle and all these things?
It's a unique situation, right? Mm-hmm. You become successful by taking one step forward every day.
Yeah.
By taking risk, but not just risk. Risk is it's a misinformed word, right? When somebody says, "Oh, Chris did a risky project," it may have been risky to them, but I believe in calculated risk.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So we'll take Highside Market, for example, right? That's a real project. That was purchased in 2 stages, right? The first building, the John A. Pope building on the corner, was purchased first, and then the what was the Regions building, Regions Bank building, was purchased next. And so we took about 3 years to plan the whole project.
Really?
And it was constantly changing iterations, and Will Barnes, who was a dear friend of mine, who unfortunately we lost, was a large part of the success of that design. And we collaborated on a lot of the parts of it. But when we finished designing it, right, then you can price it out. Okay, well, great. So now I see there's a $12 million price tag here. Well, I don't have $12 million. So I've got to go find it.
Right.
All right, so I've got to go sell that idea to somebody, namely the bank.
Right.
And you look at it and you go, that is a risk. But a calculated risk is saying, I'm going to take this loan out. We're going to get some investors, but we're going to attack this thing in stages. And at each stage, we know exactly where we can pull the lever and get out, and we can quantify what our loss will be.
Got it.
And so what's acceptable and what's not acceptable is solely up to your benchmarks, right? But that's calculated risk.
So I hear you saying is that calculated risk or in moving with intention.
Moving with intention, know your exits. My mother taught me that at a young age. Always know your exits. Walk into a room, back to the wall, and know how to get out.
Right. And risk without calculation is ultimately destruction, or what?
It's a game of chance. It's
so you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but it's one thing to go out into the unknown.
Yeah.
Right. But if you go, because you won't succeed, you might not succeed. But if you go out into the unknown with a plan and eyes wide open as to here's how I can either get back.
Sure.
Right. No, I've cut the rope from the life raft. And I'm floating. But I've got a backup plan with this little hidden paddle back here. So full speed ahead. But if I got to jump, I at least know what my losses are. And
you know you're going to jump on something.
Well, you hope you don't, but you know that if you have to, you know what that looks like. And so you've quantified your risk. And then it's up to you to say, I think too many people just don't even look at that and take the time to quantify.
That's true.
You got to look at how much time you spend, how much capital did you put into it. Was there debt? All this stuff.
It's true.
So everything that I look at, I just do a quick analysis. What is well, no, I'm not doing that. Does it align with my vision and my mission?
Sure.
Personally and from a business standpoint.
What's the number one mistake you see new entrepreneurs making based on the ones that you know or your own experience? What's the number one mistake?
Yeah, right. Fail often, fail quickly. That's not a mistake. That's a great life lesson.
Right.
A buddy of mine once said, he said, yeah, you hire slow, fire quick.
Okay.
But the number one thing that a business owner does to seal their own fate, I think, is scaling too quickly. getting, your cash on hand, right, is what's really important. That at the end of the day, it's not your it's what's my EBITDA? What's that cash in my hand? Because that's how you're going to get to the next month. And if you scale too quickly, you'll burn through your reserves. So it's a function of failure comes typically from trying to scale too quickly,
Sure,
and not having appropriate capital reserves, which is easy to do. Oh, I'll get it. I'll earn it later, and I'll put it in the bucket, in the safety bucket, right? My safety net. But that over there is really shiny, and I'm going to go get it.
right.
And that's going to cost me all that money I was going to put in my.
Right.
You got to start
Slow.
Yeah, and so
you got to live broke, is what he's saying.
you have to live smart and with intention and understanding. That
Love that.
I think one of the things that is frustrating is this idea of immediacy. And I had someone a long time ago ask if I would be their mentor, and I don't take that lightly.
Sure.
So I interviewed him first, and I said to him, "Well, listen, if I was to be your mentor, what would be the first question you asked me?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, how do I get to be as successful as you?"
That's always the question. Yeah.
And I went, "Okay, fair. You're young. I'll give you the answer right now. Believe in work, hard work, and understand that I got to where I am today because 15 years ago,
Yeah.
I believed in work, and it wasn't about pulling the 9 to 5. It was about getting the job done. And if I work 18 hours, I work 18 hours." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I worked for 15 years here doing this to get here." And he said, "Oh," eyes really big. He goes, "You misunderstood me, Mr. Woodruff. I meant, how do I get to be as successful as you right now?" And I looked at him and I said, "I think you missed the assignment. And you didn't hear what I said because I gave you the answer. And it might not be what you want to hear, but it's the truth. You don't get somewhere quickly. No NFL player magically woke up and said, I think I'm going to go play NFL football."
Right. Right.
Every striated muscle they have has been compounded by years and years and years of intense training. No one looks at that. How do you become successful? You grind. Intentionally, intelligently, and understanding where your exposures and liabilities are. So my dear friend Otis always tells me, aim for excellence to hit greatness.
Yeah.
And know your X zone. He calls them an X zone. My mentor, Matt, calls them ghosts.
Okay.
And it's an old lawyer term. And so lawyers would say, find the ghost in the contract. The ghost is the thing you can't see. And so you have to train your eye to see the thing you can't see and to be ahead of it and to anticipate it. And if you don't take the time to do those things, then it will come to bite you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it's lingering out there. That ghost is still there. And I have projects and businesses that I know where the ghost, and they're still out there. I know that there's some places I haven't identified, and that scares the living daylights out of me, because those are the things that get you. Now, the other part is as an entrepreneur or starting your first business, understand that it's okay to not succeed to the level that's in your head.
Right.
Small wins are small wins. Sometimes we have to lean on that, and that's how we get through the next day. And I don't believe in failure unless I know failure is real, but it doesn't impact me because I don't see my shortcomings or the things that don't work out as failures.
Yeah.
I see them as an opportunity to go back and unpack it and learn from it so that I don't do it again. Or I can save somebody else the trouble of going through that pain and loss of capital, right?
Good.
But I go into everything I do understanding that this might not work out, and that's okay, right? I'm not the smartest guy in the room, right?
Same
But
here.
and so sometimes, and I'm stubborn and I forget. And so I found a long time ago that if I put something permanently on my skin, it can serve as a reminder.
Right.
Now, I got my first tattoo when I was 39.
Okay. I haven't got one yet. I want one though.
Well, I wanted one my whole life.
Okay.
But my mama told me one time, when I told her I was 15, I said, I want a tattoo. She looks at me, she says, we don't do that in this family. And I said, what's this weed? Do you have a frog in your pocket?
That's another rule.
And I saw the hand go up and I was just kidding. But she said, yeah, that's the rule. And she said, I said, well, why not? Mm-hmm. Can you help me understand why? Mm-hmm. And she said, you're too young to understand what it means to have something permanent on your skin. And the only way that I could justify you doing that is if you would die for whatever is being ingrained into your skin. And that stuck. I went, wow. It didn't change my desire to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
It changed the why. And we'll get back to the why in a second, but that is important, right? The why. It took me till I was 39 to figure out what was the most important thing that I would die for. What would Chris Woodruff die for? Family. God.
Not the business.
Not the business.
Yeah.
And so on my hand, in Keone Greek, which I can horribly pronounce, Keone Greek was the language that the Bible was written in, as you all know, right? And that's how it spread like wildfire. Simple. Thy will be done. And that came from some of the best advice. Pastor Jimmy Elder. I ran into him in the gym early one morning, and he always says, Chris, how are you? And I was feeling very vulnerable. I just hadn't had enough sleep, had been working all night, and I was trying to get these weights up. And I go, Jimmy, I'm not doing good at all. I've got this meeting coming up, and this. And he, I could see him kind of go, okay, well, everything it's going to be. I know it's going to be fine, but I guess my question, Jimmy, is with everything you deal with, with the amount of pulls that come on you every day, how do you handle it? And he looks at me and that Jimmy Elder grin and goes, oh, well, before every meeting or anything I do, I just say, thy will be done. That's my prayer. I said, that's your prayer. Thy will be done. He said, well, think about it. That's all that really is going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And be okay with that. And I went, brilliant. I got to get that on my hand.
Yeah.
So you got to have those moments, right? And for me, you got to say, it's not a failure. It's his will.
Will be done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there's no such thing as failure, because if it's God's will, he'll pay the bill.
That's right.
He'll pay the bill.
There was a period of 6 months where every night around 2:30, I would wake up with massive panic attacks because of one of the projects I was working on. And had it not been for my wife and her strength and support, and had it not been for my friend Otis, who we prayed a lot about it, one day he said, you need to start letting it go and just turning it over to God. I said, what do you mean, turning it over? He said, literally pray everything that's going on and just say, I give it all to you.
Yeah.
Give it all. So I started doing that trick every night. And about a week went by after doing that every night intensively, and I slept like a baby. That's how an entrepreneur needs to understand how to get through everything, because it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
You got to understand it may not work out. That's okay. Give it to God. Now, Lord, I give you everything. I give you this day. I give you this interview. I want you in the room with me.
Yeah.
Lord, I may say some dumb things today, but please don't make them so embarrassing that I can't,
can't get out of it.
Or if they are embarrassing, I hope it helps somebody in some capacity, because maybe that was the whole purpose, right? That was your will.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you, how, as a business owner, how do you separate your personal life from business, and how do you navigate that spiritually when things get tough? And it seems like how you navigate it is through Jesus.
Yes. That's 100%. That's the only answer I've found that works.
Yeah.
And I've tried a lot of different ways to fix these problems.
Yeah, we all have.
And without fail. Now, I've had to learn that it's not going to happen on my time.
Sure. It's going to happen on his time.
Yeah. And that in and of itself is a blessing.
And what do you do when you're waiting on God to bless something that you know He told you to do?
Well, after you've questioned, did He really tell me to do that? Or did I mishear Him? Did He say go left and I went right?
Right.
No, I think that
as a business owner, what do?
You have to really assess, again, the risks. Because when other people's lives are on the line and their livelihood, you have to either have a team that believes exactly what you believe, that God will prevail in this, or you have to let God help you prepare enough to weather the storms.
Yeah.
So it's a different question because when there's people's livelihood involved.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
it's different.
It really is.
Let's talk about credibility because, let's talk about reputation because I think that's more important as a business owner too. How important is it as a business owner that you do what you say you're going to do and your reputation is something that people honor about you? Speak to me about that.
So my grandfather instilled a lot in me growing up, but three things in particular are rules. They're guidelines that I live by every day. So people say, Chris, how are you so successful? I live by these three things, right? I live by them. The first is if you say you're going to do something,
do it.
Do it. Period. If I say I'm going to leave the room, leave the room.
Right.
May be hard for me to do, but I need to do it.
Right.
I said I was going to do it.
Right. Right.
Your word is your bond. Right. He also said that to whom much is given, much is expected. That was something he picked up in the Bible when he was serving in our country on a minesweeper. And he said, you've been given brains, you've been given talent. And I believe that's true for everybody. I said, well, you're just saying that because you have assets. And you could, no. To whom much is given, much is expected. And everyone has been given something. It may not be money, it may be talent, it may be so believe in that. And do the best with what you have where you are when you can.
Yeah.
Don't make excuses. Oh, well, if I only had X, I could do this. Still got to get done.
Yeah.
So figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you get through the challenges.
Yeah.
So reputation is critical because I think we had talked at some point in time or something in my head says we had, and it said, you asked the question, well, if you had to start all over, what would you do? If you didn't have it, you were broke. Well, I'd start with trust. I'd work with, do things for 10 people. Get 10 people to understand that you are a man or woman of your word, that you can be depended on. And without fail, 2 more people will be told or will hear that. And that is how you build a solid customer base. That is how you build a solid tenant base. Doing exactly what you say. You do it on a handshake. You go back and paper it, right? You make the contract. But if I told you I'm going to give you 8 months free rent,
I'm going to give you 8 months free rent.
That's right. If I told you I'm going to be with you the whole time, I'll be with you the whole time. And if I told you I'll be with you the whole time unless you do these things, and you do those things, I'm not going to be with you because I'm a man of my word.
Yeah. Earlier in this conversation when we met, I told you you were speaking, and I kept saying the word we, and you said don't never lose that. Don't because I was explaining to you, well, it's not just we, it's really me. I just say we because I know one day I will have staff. How important is it to believe in yourself as an entrepreneur? How important is it to speak things that you don't see as an entrepreneur?
I would say it's about as critical as breathing is. For me, and I believe that. I believe that what you speak and what you believe, whether it be positive self-talk or negative self-talk, comes true. You made the joke about wearing a blazer. Well, I wore one too.
Mm-hmm.
I wore a blazer because I want to feel more professional. And a blazer helps me do that. And so I will then act accordingly because that's how I feel. And so saying things and bringing things into existence, the we, I was laughing because for the first 3.5 years of the cotton company's existence, I said we all the time. My friends made fun of me relentlessly. They'd walk into my office and they'd look around, this is a beautiful office, we. Can you come open the door? Or do you want we to do that? Wait, that is you. For 3 years. Because I knew that there would be. And it didn't matter what, the jokes, whatever. I thought, oh, yeah, sure. But I put it into existence. This is what it's going to be, right? You know, I will be a force of positive change.
Come on.
We will make a difference. I will leave this earth better than when I found it. You keep saying that, I will be the rainbow in somebody's clouds today.
Yeah.
You know? Watch how that starts to just pour from you.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah. That's so good. That was so good. I wonder was there ever a time that you didn't have as much belief? And how did you overcome that?
I mean, it's like every other day.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I'm doing so many things and working on so many projects and getting hit from so many different angles by, you know, tons of bricks, right? And the blessings that I have is that I've got a hard head. And when I fall down, to date, I've gotten back up every time.
Good.
And Daddy always said, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up.
Right.
So when times do I have struggles in belief in myself, or am I doing the right thing? 100%. When it's not going the way I want it to, and I live in this ridiculous world in my head of unachievable expectations. That's a horrible place to be, right? It's not fair for you to put that on other people.
Right.
But most people do.
They do.
Right? I'm honest about it, at least. I'll tell you, listen, I'm going to aim for excellence. I know I'm going to hit greatness, but don't think that I'm not shooting for that every time.
Right.
And if it's not right all the time, it's not right.
Right.
And I'm going to say it again, if it's not right all the time.
It's not right. And
in our family, it's got to be right.
Come on.
Now, that's how I grew up. That's some damage and trauma right there. Because,
I bet.
You know, I mean, it's gosh, talk about being hard on yourself.
It's a concept of perfectionism, yeah.
It's unattainable and it's unrealistic. So you got to teach yourself that's okay.
Yeah.
To not hit it.
Yeah.
And you've got to remind yourself when you didn't close the deal.
Yeah.
That I will be done. I'm going to keep at this because I believe you told me to do this.
Come on.
And maybe, gosh, what if I'm wrong about, what if this is just a different path to get me over here that I never would have thought about? Had you not let me believe in, and we turn around and look back and go, wow, all the scars, all the.
It wasn't wasted.
No, he was just building me up because he knew what I was going to face. I couldn't do it then.
That's good.
Now I can survive it at least.
That's good, Chris.
And so
that's so good.
But that's hard to see during it.
Yeah.
And you got to have a strong core.
It's only hard because we have this one outcome that we think is going to happen, and when it looks like it's not going to happen, it's hard to switch that mindset.
Hope is a dangerous drug.
Come on, it is, man. I wonder, in business, what's working and what's not working right now? Based on what you know and all the meetings and all the people that you've been able to meet in business, what's working and what's not working?
For Chris Woodruff?
Well, just for
just in business in general.
For business in general, what's working and what's not working?
I mean, the interest rates are not really working so well for developers right now.
Okay.
But it's causing us to get very creative.
Yeah.
I think that what's not working, it goes back to high side market. And not that high side market isn't working, but why was high side market created?
Right.
Because let's go back to what I said earlier. The why is important, right? The why is what drives you. That's what you should be looking at, not the, here's what I make. Here, if you've ever listened to the Simon Sinek podcast on Start with Why, every entrepreneur needs to memorize that, because not only is it a brilliant understanding of how to do a sales pitch, right? It's also a fundamental way that you can be successful, because if my why is going to drive me, then I'll never stop. The what comes next, and the how, the how's going to work itself out because the why is so strong.
That's good. That's good. How do you have discernment as a business owner? How do you know what to say yes to and know what to say no to? Or how does it work for you?
I had a conversation with my wife about this last night, actually, and she pinpointed the error in my process.
Okay.
Discernment comes from scars and being self-aware and asking yourself those questions, doing a deep dive, after action report on what happened with whatever. That's how you're going to learn the discernment. For me, it's what does it do to my mission, to my reason for being here? Is it part of that? Because for me, it's not about the IRR, right? The internal rate of return. It's not about that. It's about the mission. I'm here on this planet, I believe, to build a better world. The only way I can think of doing it is through the built environment. And maybe that's my talent. Maybe that's my strength. Maybe that's my gift. Or maybe I'm doing it all wrong. I don't know, but I believe that I'm here to connect and to grow community.
Sure. How do you know you're making the right decision?
You don't. You don't. You have to look at every case. Everything is a case by case exam. Where does this fall into? Does this? Because you can't always see, right?
Sure.
And so you have to guesstimate, right?
How heard that guesstimate?
Yeah. How does this play into my mission?
Right.
So I could do 4 gas stations on this greenfield and get a 30% return.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, if I do that, wait a minute, that's going to take away my most important asset, which is my time.
Yeah.
And now I can't devote my time to going back to making sure high side is working correctly, because high side is a very needy beast. There's so many moving parts, and it's my fault, right? Because I stood on the soapbox and said, high side is going to be different. High side is a place for all bio. High side market is the place where in our community you can come, and I don't care what race you are. I don't care your weight. I don't care how much money you got. That ain't the point. Everyone needs a place to be.
To come.
And this is what high side market is. That's what Charles Ray and I, we joked about the first time we met. I called him. I said, Big Saxy, you don't know me. I said, this is Chris Woodruff. I've heard about you. I said, maybe, but I got a favor. And he said, what is it? And I said, can you come play at high side market? Because I got an idea.
Yeah, I just talked to him. I just saw him downtown. Yeah.
I love Charles Ray. He's a good man.
He's so good, man.
He's a good.
He came downtown and he played for you.
Well, he came to high side, but he said, so what are we going to do here? And I said, let me tell you why you're here and what high side is. And I told him the dream, the vision of creating a place for all bio. I said, and you're here because I've seen your following.
Come on.
And people gravitate towards your music.
They do.
It's amazing. And this is the place where all walks of life can come. And we need to promote that, and we need to push that to the world, and your music is how we're going to start it. And he goes, I'm here for that. After the first show, he got done, and he came over and said, what do you think? I said, did you see what I saw? And he said, I did. I said, did you see that? I said, I know who that guy was a physician.
Yeah. And
his family, his kids. And you see the woman next to him with her kids? She had on shower shoes and
didn't even care. Yeah.
I mean, you had 2 socioeconomic groups right next to kids playing together.
Didn't even matter.
It didn't. It didn't.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought, right?
I love that. That's like the foundation for your business is that you just want to create unity. At the end of the day, when you lay your head down, your main mission as an entrepreneur is that you want to create unity. And I think that's so important. It goes back to your why. I think that's so important as an entrepreneur is that you got to understand, I just can't do this because I want to make money, but I want to do this because I have an intention behind doing it. And I think that's so important. So,
sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, but what you're saying is accurate, but that's what separates the people who stand the test of time and those that quit.
Yeah, that's so good.
Because if I'm doing this for money, when's it going to be enough? Well, at a certain point in time, you can't spend it all.
Right.
So what's really going to drive you? You chase that dragon for as long as it'll let you ride it. And there's your soul cup is still empty. But if you're doing something with intention, if you're doing something that answers a true godly why, whether it's the right calling or not, but that's your drive, you can get hit over the head 1,000 times, fall down 800 times. You will get back up. Yeah. You'll never quit.
It's going to work. It's going to work because you know it's going to work. Yeah. If you had the opportunity, for our last question, if you had the opportunity to speak to the younger Chris, let's say he's waiting in a room right now for you, and he's sitting right to an empty chair, and he's waiting for you to give him advice based on what you know today. What would you tell the younger Chris?
Get ready. Remember why. Remember who taught you. And don't quit.
Why does that make you emotional?
Because that's what drives me. Every day. And every day's a challenge. And so I look at that every day, and if I didn't have that, right? That's what's important, the why. So I would tell my younger me, and not so many, I don't want to give him the answer. He's got to work for it.
Sure.
You know, he's got to make
come
work
on,
for
you got to
it.
work. Come on.
But I'm not going to tell him, go listen to me and be. No, he's going to be just fine. He just needs a little bit of knowledge to understand that encouragement comes from within and remembering who you're doing it for.
Yeah.
Look, for me, I'm a sixth generation in this community. That means we got here in 1840.
Yeah.
And that's a tumultuous time in our history. I'm not trying to hide that.
Yeah.
But I owe a lot to the people before me and to this community. What kind of man am I if I don't give back? Because I wouldn't be here. My family wouldn't be here but for the community and the people. And so that's what drives me is I owe this. To all the people that listened to me, that let me come sit in the room with them, that answered the questions for me, to the Dr. Wrights, to the Bill Turners, to the Otis Scarboroughs, I owe them because they gave me some time. And without that time, I wouldn't be where I am today. They gave me lessons. They gave me knowledge. They gave me confidence. And I owe it to them.
That's the why.
If I let that go and just squandered it, what does that say about my respect for them?
Yeah, sure.
And that's not who I am.
Sure. Wow.
I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Well, you say you was going to come to the podcast? You came to the podcast. And I appreciate you. I really do. And I hope that every business owner who watches this really gets some information. You gave answers that I didn't expect for you to give, which I'm so grateful for. And man, I just hope that they grow. Hope they grow. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.
Brought to you by MSW Productions.